Ain't nobody gonna break my stride. Nobody gonna throw me in jail. Oh no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We back. We in the building, man. You know what it is. All right. You know what it
Woo.
is. It must be what?
It must be Tuesday.
And if it's Tuesday and it's 8:15, you already know what it is. It's down in sports in the building. Myself, left-handed, at RM Desk on Twitter, which is this right now, and the ubiquitous, the whole building rocker, the Philly fan fanatic, Anthony Gargano ain't got nothing on this one right here. And she's down with the program. She's down with us. That's Yadabear over there, y'all. All right.
Yo, yo,
In the
yo.
building, man. Down in Sports Talk, live and direct, in your face, in your eye on Tuesday night. Listen, Yada Bear is extremely upset. Her Philadelphia Eagles, didn't do what they were supposed to do. As opposed to like, some of us are 2-0. I'm not gonna, get into all of that. But Basky, how you feeling? You can, set it off, do what you do, and we're gonna set the show off like this.
You know, a little disappointed. Um, did not expect the game to go the way that it went last night. Um, as we was talking before the show started, there was everybody, is pointing the fingers here, there, like the little meme of the three Spider-Mans, everyone pointing the finger at
Mm-hmm,
each other.
mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of finger pointing going on here in Philadelphia. And
Mm.
when I look at the game last night and, really, sit back and think about it, it was a it was a group loss, Yeah, Saquon dropped the ball. Yeah, we brought him here to make plays like that. It was a good throw. Dropped the ball, 3rd and 3. People like, well, why would you throw the ball? Well, it was a good play. It worked before. If we would have caught it, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right. Absolutely.
But since he
That's
dropped
right.
it, now we are here.
Now we
But
right. Why
but
did you
that
right,
play
right.
alone wasn't the reason that we lost the game. I mean, I can go back to the first quarter where they decided because of analytics, here we go with the number game, that we're going to go for it on 4th down instead of taking the easy 3 points, the 3 points that we needed to win the game. Those are, we left 3 points on the field. We talk
Hmm.
about that.
That's
And
important.
yeah, and then we look at the defense. You know, where was the pass rush? We brought in a guy in Bryce Huff and to generate pass rush. We couldn't get off the edge. I mean, they had a tight end. Kyle Pitts was holding them down solo. Like, we bring you in, you supposed to be this phenomenal edge rusher, bro. You couldn't even get off the block. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, well, who's to blame for that? Well, the blame is Howie Roseman because you decided to bring him in and not pay Hassan. So now we're not getting no pass rush. I look at the defensive line, no pass rush there, no adjustments from Vangio, no blitzes to help generate pass rush, especially from, we got a quarterback like Kirk Cousins back there who's not mobile. Like, what's going on? So it was a lot of hiccups.
Up,
Um,
up,
the
up.
Whoa.
Get to the secondary.
Oh, listen,
I'm
I'm getting there. Um,
getting
well,
there. Work with me.
the one thing I would say though, the last play, that last touchdown, Slay got caught slacking. He got caught slipping. He got caught looking in the backfield, staring the quarterback down instead of looking at Drake London. But I have to say, he was shutting that whole side down the whole game. He just got caught looking in the cookie jar when we needed him the most. He got caught up.
I mean, what do you say about Vic Fangio and the schemes that he came up with?
Well, as I said, like some of the schemes that he was throwing out there, you know, again, our biggest weak point in this defense is the middle of the field again,
Hmm.
because
You said that
The
last week. Mm-hmm.
the Falcons scoring drive, game winning drive. No, they had no timeouts. They went down the field with ease.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that he was playing the, oh, don't get anything behind you, super soft coverage. No, they have no timeouts. Blitz him, blitz Kirk Cousins, get him out the way. Y'all, Vic allowed this guy to stand there and be super comfortable in the pocket and just pick his spots on that last drive. And then, I gotta look at Sirianni, his decision making, you know, when I look at this guy on the sideline, it's like, what are you here for? This is not your office anymore. You're not calling any plays. Only thing you do is call timeouts, go for it on fourth downs. It's ridiculous. Like, and sometimes in his offense, you can tell when Sirianni is opposing his will, because how can we have Jahan Dotson on the team, but Britton Covey has got majority of the catches? What are we doing here? Why did you trade for Jahan Dotson and you're not going to use him, especially when AJ's out? Then um, where's Dallas Scholar?
Hmm.
You're not feeding him the ball. You bring in Saquon, but you still running all these quarterback draw plays. It was just a lot. It was, like I said, extremely disappointing. But what can we do? This is what the Eagles do to us, and I expect us, not to go undefeated. I said we'll
Oh
probably
wow,
win.
yeah.
We'll win about 11 to 12 games. So we'll see what's going to happen. Hopefully AJ will be back next week playing against the Saints. We see what Alvin Kamara been doing. The way this run defense is looking like Alvin going to have another big game next week if we can't tighten up this run defense, because as talented as Bijan is, I don't want to see what Alvin going to do with us, because the difference between Alvin and Bijan, Alvin generate touchdowns. You know, like Bijan, he had a couple great runs. He had a good game, but if I'm going to see Alvin next week doing that, I expect Alvin to have over 100 yards and maybe 3 touchdowns. It's just crazy. I just need that defense to get together, and they need to figure out the identity on the offensive side, because I'm sick and tired of RPOs. I'm done with RPOs because, one, we've seen that they had 3 penalties for a lineman going downfield because they don't know what Jalen's going to do. He's going to keep it, or he's going to give it off to Saquon. And then when he makes the decision, most time it's the wrong decision. So I'm done with RPOs. RPOs, they figured it out. The league has figured out RPOs. It's time to step away from that. Go back to a traditional offense. I don't want to see no more RPOs. I need a break from that because it has ran its course.
Right.
I'm done. I have nothing else to say about this game.
Um, I'm just gonna say this about your Philadelphia Eagles. From the outside looking in. Um, state the obvious. Y'all need AJ Brown really, really bad. I think that Jalen Hurts did what he normally does, what he's supposed to do. Saquon, did what he normally does, what he's supposed to do. But I think that your offense had to work a little bit too hard. I think Kellen Moore had, kind of like a lot of stuff that, man, if AJ would have been there, you know what I'm saying, would have took the pressure maybe and eased the burden off of Jalen to kind of like just defend on Devontae, or just having to throw the ball to Saquon in that situation. But again, man, it is what it is. Y'all got New Orleans coming up this week, and to me, like, if I was a betting person right now, I would take the Eagles. for the simple fact that so far in the NFL, you're not getting what you think you're gonna get.
True.
There's been a lot of upsets. There's been a lot of, oh, okay, this team did this. The only consistent in the NFL to me right now is the New Orleans Saints, right? And I think that when you get that, now everybody's gonna be on them this week. Kimmy, everybody's gonna be on them. Oh, they're
Oh
doing
yeah.
this, and even though Derek Carr and Alvin Kamara, they do look 5 years younger. Absolutely, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But again, at the end of the day, again, people are going to jump out the window and jump on the Saints. I think the Saints. Oh, look at the Eagles defense coming in. A little, worse for wear right now. The middle of the field. Whoop de whoop. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But New Orleans really beat the brakes off the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Everybody thought that the Cowboys were gonna really really make some noise and do what they have to do. Only thing that they did was show up, and they didn't do a good job of that. Because when the team can get 35 points on you in the first half, you can kind of
That's a problem.
yeah. So I think that New Orleans, the first week wasn't a fluke. They would definitely went up against a much better defense and still beat the brakes off a so-called better defense. Now, let's talk about my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucks went into Detroit, all right, and did some things. Baker Mayfield is starting to, look like that dude. But I'm just going to say this, like I say about everything else early in the season: do not jump out the window. All right. Again, nobody's gonna go undefeated in this league. Baker's playing out of his mind right now. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are what they are right now until they're not. You know what I'm saying? It looks like we're headed for probably a possible showdown with New Orleans Saints. People thought that the Atlanta Falcons were going to be the team that we had to compete with in the NFC South. So again, I'm going to say this about my Bucks. It's 2-0. I'm nice. I'm good with it. When we talked about the schedule weeks ago, I was like, the schedule's not really hard. It's not really hard till you get to that November where you got to get Kansas City and all of that. You know what I mean? So again, we make some noise and stock them things up and don't lose. By field goals or some dumb plays and stuff like that. So far so good. I'm with that. Where we at with the the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh man. Well, the 49ers, they got a situation where now everybody's hurt. Christian McCaffrey now on IR. Turns out Debo is going to miss a couple weeks. He also have a calf injury. So these guys are banged up. Them losing to Minnesota, very interesting fact is that they haven't won in Minnesota in like the last like 20, 10 to 20 years. Like they haven't like the last I can't remember the last time they beat Minnesota in Minnesota, which is a crazy stat. Like they haven't beat them in so long there. I think it was more about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold looked great. He looked really good out there. It's crazy how when we think of Sam Darnold, we thought, bust, back up, things like that. But maybe it was the situation that he's in. He's in a place where they have a really good offense. You got Justin Jefferson, you got Aaron Jones, pretty decent O-line. You got a run game going on, complementary defense on the other side. And Sam Darnold is looking like a very, productive quarterback out there. So, maybe it's a situation where the coaching is better, offensive coach, and he just, extremely confident. Maybe he took some things that he learned out from LA, brought it to Minnesota with him, and he looks like a totally new quarterback. So I think the game was more about them. versus the 49ers. I think the 49ers will still be okay. There's like I said, a lot of injuries. Um, going on with that team. Brock Purdy didn't look terrible, but when your weapons keep going down, it's very hard to very hard to maintain. So we'll see what happens with them in the next couple of weeks. How you feel about that game? And
You know what? Go ahead, Kimmy. Go ahead.
Other thing, and they were still able to pull out the victory with Justin Jefferson going down. So, I was impressed. But go ahead, Les.
You know what? I'm gonna say this about that particular game. It's been like we just mentioned earlier. Anything goes this season. Because we would sit back and say, "Damn, Sam Darnold, damn son, you stuck with him." You know what I mean? I just think that right now, after 2 weeks of the season, it's kind of like the early part of the season when we talk about in baseball. Remember we talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates and how they surprising everybody until reality comes, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are where they usually are. But I want to see and get your thoughts on a couple of things. I want to get your thoughts first on Tua, all right, the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. And then I want to get your opinion on Bryce Young, quarterback of the Carolina Panthers.
Okay. Well, with Tua, um, I feel like I felt, was it last year when he had the concussions? I think it's time for him to retire. Um, because at this point you have to think about life after football. He's a young guy, and for him to have like 3, 4 concussions within like a 2-year span is wow. We have seen what multiple concussions have done to people. We talking Junior Seau, we talking, a guy like Troy Aikman, who had publicly said that they said I won Super Bowls, but I don't remember them. I don't remember playing in the games. Look at a guy, and Aaron Hernandez. Look at the things that he has done, and it's been shown that he has CTE. Like, so when we look at Tua, it's like his brain is not meant for football. It's like any type of hard hit, it could be his last hit. And
Right.
I really think that he needs to sit back and have a conversation with a guy named Andrew Luck, who had to retire from football because he had major injuries, internal organs, like a lacerated kidney from playing football because your team did not
Right.
invest in the offensive line.
The front office was a bunch of doofuses.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes you have to protect these players. And when Andrew Luck retired, he wasn't. I don't even think he was 30. He might be in his early 30s. I'm not too sure.
No. I think it was late 20s, 28,
Yeah,
29.
so he wasn't even 30 yet. Too, and
If
he's not
that,
even
yeah,
30
yeah,
yet.
yeah. You know what I mean? He wasn't in the league that long.
Yeah, for something like that to happen. So Tua, he's not even 30 yet. Like I said, he had about 4 concussions within the last 2 years, and we can't even count the concussions that he had, in Alabama. We didn't even count what he had in high school, middle school, youth football league, stuff like that. Like, these things carry over. So he has 2 young kids. So you telling me if you come back on this field, you get hit again, you might not be able to get up again. You might not
Right.
be able to walk off that field.
Right.
And now he's on the IR. They saying week 8 he may come back. It's like, I feel like if I'm the Dolphins and he comes back, I would definitely make this guy wear the Guardian cap. Like, why is he not wearing this Guardian cap? Why? Because it don't look cool. That's what it is. It don't look cool, right? That's why I don't want to wear it. But you not being able to put on pants, you'll not be able to walk around, you'll not be able to drive or even go out and play with your kids because you you're punch drunk. You know,
Basically,
your brain is messed up. You know, so I feel like one, either he should retire, and two, if he comes back, they should enforce that he has to wear a guardian cap. And then when we talk about Bryce Young, them benching him, I think is too late. I think that's something that probably should have happened last season. Matter of fact, I don't even think he should have started last season because it was obvious even in preseason he wasn't ready. I I seen it. I kept saying they draft the wrong guy, and then we have a situation where you had a coach in Frank Wright who didn't want to draft this guy. He didn't want him. Again, it's another situation where the front office, the owners want to step in and say, "Hey, I want this guy.
I want this guy.
Yeah, because
I'm the boss. I get what I want.
Yeah,
right? You got what you
I
wanted,
write the
right?
checks. I want this guy. You know, I want the flashy pick. I want the hot pick. You know, from Alabama. He's underneath the Nick Saban tree. He's and he got a national. He played in all these college playoff games. But even like I said to my friend the other day, you can be a really really good, borderline great college quarterback. But all good college quarterbacks are not good NFL quarterbacks.
True.
It's a difference.
Definitely.
You know, we have seen really good, borderline great college quarterbacks come to the NFL.
They get projected. They get projected to be Hall of Fame.
Oh man,
absolutely.
The next Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham. This guy is amazing, but he's amazing in college.
Right.
And then it comes to the NFL, and it's like, well, what happened? What happened within those last couple of months, from the end of your college career to the combine, to the draft, mini camps, rookie camp, training camp, preseason? It's like, what happened to this guy? Right. You know, and when I look at Bryce Young, I don't see him as a quarterback. I don't see him as an NFL quarterback. I don't see him. He doesn't even look like he wanted to be out there. Against the Chargers, they wasn't even rushing him like that, and he's running to the sacks. It's like he's running to the sack. It's like it kind of looks like he's throwing the games. Like he's playing so bad that it looks like he's throwing the games. And then, I heard some things coming out of Carolina where some of the players actually think that he's throwing the games, that he don't want to play. And once the teammates start talking, then you have to make a change.
Right.
And I think, the Panthers did a disservice to him and to the organization, one, by drafting him, two, by starting him.
Yeah.
So now we gotta wait and see. They're gonna bring in Andy Dalton to start, and I guess they're gonna try to figure out, well, is it the team or is it Bryce Young? And I can tell you today, it's Bryce Young. All day.
Again, we talked about Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Detroit Lions. I look at the Lions. I say, okay, Jameson Williams is doing his thing. I think that Jared Goff has been kind of like a little suspect with the ball under pressure. But we already know that about him. You know what I mean? I looked at the Cleveland Browns. I think that that game against Jacksonville was like one of those that really nobody watched except for Cleveland and Jacksonville fans.
True.
I think that Jacksonville is one of those overrated teams that play down to whatever level that they're playing against. Nobody respects Trevor Lawrence. Nobody, and you talk about Doug Peterson as the coach and what Jacksonville's supposed to be doing, and you know, teams that have come in there and just kind of like taking the shine from Jacksonville. You know what I mean? I just don't understand it. They got a big name, big price quarterback too. You know what I mean? And again, they got a Super Bowl winning coach. And again, they're supposed to be doing some things in Jacksonville. And that game against Cleveland was very, very sloppy. It was a game, you know, with kind of like two, I don't want to say also rans, but, you know, we kind of waiting for them to show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence. When I look at Trevor Lawrence, I think of, did he max out or did he hit the wall? You know, I think he maxed out already. I think this is who Trevor Lawrence is. I think it doesn't matter who the coach is, who the offensive coordinator is, what weapons he had out there, you know, because you still got pretty much, you know, same guys out there. You know, you interchange Calvin Ridley with Gabe Davis. You know, you still got Travis out there,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it's like he's the same guy. You know, it doesn't look like he improved in any areas. You know, I don't see any improvement with him. I feel like he maxed out, and I feel like Jacksonville is a team that we always said had the potential to be good, but in reality, they're bad. You know, I feel like in reality they're bad. They're inconsistent, a lot of sloppy plays. And when we look at Doug Peterson, yeah, he won a Super Bowl, but how much of that was Doug and how much of that was Frank Wright? Because we see what Doug looked like in Philadelphia without Frank Wright, and now we see what he looks like in Jacksonville.
All
Yeah.
right. What are we doing with the Cincinnati Bengals? They're another one of those 0-2 teams that have a high price quarterback and you know a couple of receivers that like their money as well. Um, I think that the 0-2 record is very disappointing. I'm not really interested in Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase taking Patrick Mahomes to the wire again. I'm not interested in that. You know what I mean? I'm interested in them kind of getting some respect, putting some respect on their name. Letting Joe Mixon go is kind of like an indicator of you know where they are. The truth be told, I think Cincinnati is you know that division. You know, Cleveland, Cincinnati. You know, have played. You know, Baltimore have played not up to their particular level, right? Look at Baltimore. Baltimore's 0-2, right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So again, you look at that division, man, and that's all we talk about is Lamar Jackson. When is he going to show up? Um, you know, Josh Allen is like, okay, these guys are having an off season, taking some of that shine off of me because people are looking at me and waiting when it comes to Josh Allen. So now Josh Allen, just is time to step up. Who will be the next guy that takes over in the AFC because you know Patrick Mahomes he's not going anywhere. And the other dudes who want to be number 2 and 3, they act like they don't want it. So who's going to step up and be the guy to kind of say, okay, Patrick Mahomes, you know, we coming for it. You know what I'm saying? So again, they got all this money, and to me, it's like, what are they getting on their ROI, Browski? They ain't getting nothing in return on their investment, nothing. So, you know, I feel like you know when you talk about the quarterbacks, I mean, Bryce Young is in the same situation with a bunch of these dudes. But the one team that we talked about that I said that I liked the season, I think we agreed on it. The Arizona Cardinals,
Yes.
like
Yes.
you know, and again, this team is you know they have their ups and downs, they go through it. You know what I mean? But this is not your grandpop's Arizona Cardinals. All right, they've been in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? They have Hall of Fame players. They're back in the building this year. Shout out to Elijah Jones. All right. Um, they're doing what they need to do, and I think that the last a couple of weeks right now putting some respect on their name, even though they lost up at Buffalo. It's okay. They had Buffalo on the ropes. They lost at Buffalo, but they came home and played an LA Rams team that's not bad and beat the brakes off of them. Like, yo, this is not it. You're not coming in here and beating us by 3 touchdowns and all that. Nah. So again, Kyler Murray, his throwing is improved. I think that 1 week, like I said, after going toe to toe with Josh Allen up in Buffalo, um, he's doing his thing. He busts Matthew Stafford's ass. You know what I mean? So again, he's doing what he needs to do. And again, Browski, we're 2 weeks in.
Yeah,
I'm not really, we're not putting the X next to nobody's name for the playoff clinching or nothing like that, right?
now we definitely we're 2 weeks in. And to go back to Arizona, Kyler Murray finally did his job and got the ball to Marv Harrison Jr.
All right.
After the Buffalo loss, he had his little press conference and said, "Oh, well, it's not my job, to give him the ball." When it's like, bro, that's the definition of the quarterback is to give the
Throw
ball
the ball
to
to
the
the
best
receiver.
receiver,
You throw
and
a
the best
ball over to the
receiver
receiver.
is Marvin
Mhm.
Harrison Jr. And
Right.
he proved it straight out the gate. In the first quarter with 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards on just 4 receptions. So it's clearly who's the number one guy in Arizona. Um, the Rams, Matt Stafford getting older, looking older. Cooper Cup, once again, injury. It's the ankle again. Um, he hasn't really looked the same since the Super Bowl. Truthfully, Cooper Cup, he had the season when he got the Triple Crown, Super Bowl, but then after that, it's like injury on top of injury on top of injury. So I don't know what they're gonna do out there because they got the number one and number two receiver both on IR.
Right.
You know, so that's one hell of a way to start the season out with both your top guys on the IR. Um, Going to the Ravens. I mean, we didn't. I didn't expect them to start out 0-2. I thought at least maybe like 1-1. But when are we going to start really looking at Lamar Jackson and thinking like, is this guy overrated? Like what does these MVPs are really telling me? This guy has 2 MVPs, but most of the times he's the reason why they lose the game and the reason why they win the game. But it's like you it's the Raiders. We know what the Raiders are right now. The Raiders are like in like a rebuilding, like middle of the pack type of team. They more on the decline, than upward status. And when we see that game, I'm like, Lamar, these mistakes that you're making, your decision making, you still haven't really accepted yourself as like a passer because you look to run first all the time. You look to use your legs all the time more than using your weapons that you have out there. Like you got a kid out there and Zay Flowers, like who's a decent receiver. Like when he gets the ball in his hand, he makes things happen right now. And it's like he's not really getting the ball like that. You got a established tight end, Pro Bowl tight end, and Mark Andrews, where he's not really getting the ball like that. And then I also got to look at John Harbaugh. It's like, is it time for you to move on? Is it like, is your voice no longer being heard in Baltimore like that? Sometimes, you be in one place for so long that your voice starts to become silent there. So really got to start looking at that. Another team, we got to talk about is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Um, they're 2-0. On behind Justin Fields, who finally threw a touchdown pass. Finally. But how long are they going to be able to maintain, winning these, 10-7, 17-13, 13-6, like this is the way, like I can see like their season going. Like, are they gonna be able to score 20 plus points, with Justin Fields as the quarterback? And how long is Russell Wilson gonna be out? And when Russell's, able to come back, or they're gonna, drop Justin and go to Russell? Like, it's still, you know, a lot of things they gotta, decide in Pittsburgh, because I can't see them maintaining this throughout the season. Like, you gotta score more than 14 points, 13
Absolutely.
points
Yep.
to be successful in this NFL, because as we see, offense is what wins championships, not the defense anymore. It's an offensive league.
Yeah, yo. So again, it's early in the race, 2 weeks in. Nobody's declaring anything. We'll start doing that maybe in a couple of weeks, around week 4, week 5.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I'll say like about like week 4, week
we'll
5,
start
you
seeing who
point.
these guys, what you have as
Mm-hmm.
far as your squad is concerned. Um, let's go to baseball. It's 2 weeks to go in the season. It's starting to get really, 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 really crunched. Um, the Yankees have, doing their thing, you know what I mean? But still, I'm still, focusing and zeroing in on that series against the Baltimore Orioles, which is coming up. That's going to be a big series. We're going to need a nice cushion going into that series. I think that we're coming around. But here's something that I have a question about as far as my Yankees are concerned. Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole and the Yankees are playing the Boston Red Sox. He was facing Rafael Devers, and we all know Rafael Devers kills Garrett Cole. All right, he decided to intentionally walk him because this is what they do now, and they don't even throw the 4 pitches. They just go,
They
you go ahead.
just put the 4. Go ahead. Go to
Yeah.
first base.
So what that basically did was basically start a rally instead of
Yep.
being, pitching like you got some cojones with you. You know what I mean? And the Yankees, man, I just feel like if we're gonna do what we need to do, we're gonna need a well-rounded effort from everybody. We can't have people beefing about going to the bullpen. If you're not pitching, Nestor Cortez. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, if you've been relegated to the bullpen, man, so be it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, you know, Marcus Stroman. I don't know what to say about you, bro. I chill, I pull for you every time you go out there, but it's hard, man. You know what I mean? I get whiplash, man. It's just crazy. Again, Louis Hill, he's doing what he needs to do, doing what he has to do, doing what he can do. Um, Offensively, I'm like, we have one of the best lineups in all of baseball. I'll put our lineup healthy against any lineup in the game, any lineup. But again, we all have to show up at the same time. And I'm going to make an observation right now. And I know Bax wants to talk about her Phillies. Um, the last couple of seasons, to me, and I'm just going to admit it right now, because we're getting ready to go to the postseason, and it's going to be important. It's going to be interesting to see how this guy reacts. Giancarlo Stanton, when he's on, it makes the whole Yankee lineup stretch that much further. When he's out via injury, right? That the Yankee lineup has a big hole in it. It's like nobody wants to take charge. Everybody waits for Aaron Judge to hit a home run. Um, it's been proven the last couple of years, especially this season. When the Yankees were off to that torrid start, Giancarlo Stanton was hitting home run. Remember Nebraska? I used to talk about all the time. Giancarlo Stanton, all he does is strike out. Him and Aaron Judge.
Strike
All he
out.
do is, but we I didn't talk about that. But when he was not in the lineup for about a month, okay, I think that the lineup went down. We started to see Gleyber Torres he was going through it. You know what I mean? Then we went and got Jazz Chisholm from the Marlins, and he's made an impact. But I think we have the right team that can really really make some noise in this American League, and I'm not really um, like thinking about any other team that could really beat us. I'm not worried about Baltimore. I'm not worried about Cleveland. I'm not worried about Houston or whatever. It's just that we have to play up to our level. And that's it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna
Yeah.
slide over to Browski, see what she has to say about that National League situation with her fellas.
Ah man, so right now we are in a little battle with the Milwaukee Brewers. Um, you know, like I said, we're coming down the stretch. We got 2 weeks left. It's a numbers game. The magic number for us to clinch a postseason spot of 3 games. Magic number to clinch the NL East is, I believe, right now is at 5, maybe 6. I believe it's at
Y'all
5
good.
because
Yeah, y'all
because
good.
because the Braves, because the Braves lost,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe the number to clinch like the number 1 overall seed, I believe is at either 10, even 9 or 10 right now. But we are definitely in a really good spot. We are our own worst enemy at this point. You know, we just have to keep doing what we're doing. We got a couple guys that's you know that was hurt. Is coming back. Sosa finally came back. Um, Bohm came back the other day. So we're waiting for guys like Austin Hayes. He should be coming back within the next week or so. Um, we just gotta get our bullpen situation tightened up a little bit, and I just feel like we need our guys, our big guys, to step up. Um, I'm looking at um, I'm looking at Bryce. He was in a little slump. He had a 2 home run game a couple games ago, but right now he's kind of slumping again. I need more consistency from my bats, especially going in these last 2 weeks. But if we keep going the way that we're going, we should just slide into the postseason with ease with the NL East title and hopefully that number 1 overall seed. That's what I want because I'm tired of us going to the postseason as a wild card, having to fight our way in. I want us to walk into the postseason, with ease, without worrying about that first round matchup, things like that. Like that's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for things not to be hard, not to be as tough. We always make it tough on our own. So that's what I'm looking for, and I'm looking for my starting rotation to tighten up. We're giving up too many hits. I need Ranger back in form. I need Zach back in form. Nola back in form. Christopher Sanchez. I need everybody to get focused and get ready for this postseason push because it's now or never. I can't go into another off season looking at a team like the Arizona Cardinals in the World Series. Like what? Like come on now. Like this is ridiculous. I'm just I just need my Phillies to focus, buckle down, and just finish out the season how we started out the season on a streak. I need us to go on a streak. Um, but earlier this week, on the Facebook group, I posted something about like who will not make the postseason. Because right
Right.
now, we got teams like the Mets in the wild card spot, Kansas City Royals in the wild card spot. Um, like we just looking like who do you think who's right now if the season was to end today, like who wouldn't make the postseason?
I mean, but by the look of it, you know what I'm saying. I would have to say like a team, like what I said earlier. When I picked them to win the division, the American League Central, and that's the Kansas City Royals. And I think that right now we're going to see how that pressure, how they respond to pressure. Are they going to, try to, fight off those contenders because it's going to be rough in that Central. You know what I mean? And not making it is going to be disappointing. But I think that if they do make it, it'll be a great thing for them. But I still think if they don't win the division and they do get in,
Hmm.
I think that they'll be like this year's maybe like this year's Baltimore Orioles. That people talked about them doing their thing. They got into the playoffs and they got exposed once the playoffs started, like the Orioles did last year against the Texans.
Yeah.
Um, I think that the National League, as bad as I hate to say it, the Mets. I mean, they're having a great season. Um, the Grimace, they got a purple seat down
I
for the
know that's
Grimace.
crazy.
You know what I mean? But I think that for as great as the Mets season, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. Everybody's they're gonna have to play nearly perfect baseball to get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that if they do get in, that means somebody else ahead of them, like Atlanta maybe or San Diego or somebody like that, collapsed. I mean, totally collapsed.
Yeah. Yeah. Because right now they're one game ahead of the Braves, but they're also what 4 games by 4 games behind of the Padres. So it's definitely going to be a tight race for that last wild card spot between the Braves and the Mets. But I agree with you about Kansas City. We've been very high on them. I like Bobby Witt Jr. I like their team. So if for them to not make it, it will be disappointing not to see them in the postseason. Um, Along with like Baltimore, you know, early in the season we was talking about Seattle, and Seattle fell off. See, Seattle played themselves outside of the wild card right now. It's a little crazy what's going on in Seattle.
Well, Seattle is what Seattle is. Seattle is a pretender. Seattle is a pretender. Seattle's not going to do anything until they do something. You know what I mean? They can get all the Randy Arenas in the world. They can get all the Julio Rodriguez's in the world, and they're still not going to do anything. You know what I mean? They're out there, the Pacific Northwest, they got an owner who wants to spend money, who wants to bring a championship out there, and he feels like with the players that they have and the moves that they make, they can, bring something, to Seattle. George Kirby, with their top pitchers and things of that nature, but it just doesn't. It doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Seattle's like a July and August team. You know what I mean? Once September, so they start they start to fade out. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
people their attention switches from the Mariners to the Seahawks.
like
You
that.
know what I mean? Like that. You know what I mean? And then now, the Kraken is out there, so the attention is really gonna be divided. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So again, at the end of the day, man, Seattle, I kind of can see that. You know what I mean? Because even if they do, I don't see them going anywhere past a wild card. You know what I mean? We got Win Walker in the house. What's up, Playboy?
Going on
Hey,
when?
what's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How
Maintain
y'all
it, man.
doing?
We here. We here. What's good with you?
Oh man, been ripping and running, man. Had a little situation, you know. How y'all doing, man?
Everything's
How's them
everything.
Eagles? How's them
Hey,
Eagles
hey,
doing?
listen, we're fine. You know,
Okay, I'm
we
just
just it's
asking.
just one game. How your Steelers doing?
Oh, they doing great.
Yeah, yeah, they're
Number
doing
one in
great right now.
AFC North.
Pfft, you
Number
got to
one in
score at least
AFC
20
North.
points. You got to you got to
Hey,
you got to
we
score
get
at
it
least
how we
20
get it.
points to be division champs.
We get it.
you know, um, I wonder what's going to happen. In the next couple of weeks with them. Um, but Can we talk about the WNBA? WNBA playoffs about to start Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Um, where we at with the Aces looking like they're suspect right now, and everybody kind of like on that fever bandwagon.
Well, when we talk about the Aces, we definitely gotta give Asia Wilson a shout out for achieving 1,000 points, in the season.
It's in the
That's
season. Salute.
huge accomplishment. Haven't been done, finally got done. So, get that out the way. But, when we talk about the Aces this season as a team as a whole, um, we said the league has caught up to them. You have these other teams that are bringing in several stars to catch up to the Aces. We got teams like the Liberty that, you know, came together last season, and now you could really see after a year in, they had really gelled together as a team, and they got the number one overall seed right now. You got a team like the Minnesota Lynx, Connecticut, Seattle, like all of these teams have upgraded, and now they are on the Aces Hills. And
Mm-hmm.
then we have a team, the young guns and the Indiana Fever, who, I kept saying they really took advantage of that All-Star / Olympic break, because they've been the hottest team coming off of that break. And uh, you got Caitlin Clark out there balling, Kelsey Mitchell out there balling, Aaliyah Boston out there balling. They look like a real complete team, and they've been rewarded with the 6th seed. Like, they clinched a playoff spot. And then when you look at the rest of the league, you got 3 teams fighting for the last playoff spot. You got Chicago, you got Atlanta, and I believe Washington. I believe fighting for the last spot. I think it's, yeah, Chicago, Atlanta, and Washington, all fighting for that last spot. Um, it's They got one more game. Like, tomorrow's the last day of the season. So we're gonna see who's gonna get that last spot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the playoffs start on Sunday, and these playoffs are going to be extremely interesting. It should be a lot of great matchup. I'm definitely looking at that 2-7 matchup with that's the Minnesota Phoenix matchup right now, if everything falls in, and that 3-6 matchup, Connecticut and Indiana. They've been battling all season. Each game um has been very interesting and very competitive between these two teams. You got, Dejanay Carrington, going against, Caitlin Clark, that rivalry, you know, um, Alyssa Thomas, it's going to be a battle. They're very familiar with each other. And that's the one thing I like about the WNBA, especially in the playoffs, that the teams are so familiar with each other. It makes it extremely more competitive because they know each other. They know each other's tendencies. So you really have to really go all out, during the playoffs. How you feel about that?
I agree with you. I feel like now is the time where you have to show and prove. You know what I mean? You have 40 games. You do what you needed to do. The New York Liberty, doing their thing. 32-7. They got one more game to play, so again they got over the 30 win plateau. Again, when you talk about that race for the last playoff spot, it's going to be a scramble. Chicago without Angel Reese, you know what I mean? Having to do what they have to do. Washington and Atlanta being kind of written off, you know what I mean, the entire
Yeah.
season, looking at their records, they're still able to compete and compete down to the last day for a playoff spot, which says a lot about them and how they feel about them navigating this WNBA. I'm feeling like the Las Vegas Aces are gonna come into this playoff situation with a chip on their shoulder, right? It was all about the beginning of the season. Browski was all about all the three-peat. We got this, we got that, we got the third. Then some off the court things were happening, which I think kind of like messed with them. You know what I mean? If they say it didn't, they wouldn't. I don't think they would be totally honest with us. And this is what you get when you have those type of pitfalls and potholes and stumbling blocks in your season when you're trying to maintain and get you a three-peat. So again, it's going to be very interesting to see if they can lead the regular season behind Brasky and turn a new leaf and a new page and get it cracking as far as the playoffs. Because I think you said it, if not last week, it was 2 weeks ago. The teams kind of feel like you felt like the teams have lost respect for the Aces. They don't have that aura like they're going to come in and stomp everybody out. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? They don't have that. So again, it's going to be like you said. It's going to be very interesting to see how they respond and how teams respond. Because instead of them winning games by 20 and 30, it's going to be games where go down to the wire. Who's going to get the ball? Who's going to respond? How is Asia going to respond? How the rest of the players going to respond? And then on the Indiana Fever side, now it's what my man say? It's shine time.
Oh, definitely.
It's shine time for you now. So again, you're going to make this season justifiable for the WNBA by Caitlin Clark and then winning the playoff series. Oh my goodness, right? So again,
they win the playoff series.
It would be bananas. Yeah, it'd be bananas.
They're gonna go out.
Yeah, so I think that it's shine time for them right now. People had written them off, absolutely written them off right now. They're not ready yet. They're a year or two away. But like you said, they're in a better spot than the Chicago Sky. You know what I mean? They're in a better spot than the Phoenix Mercury. And the Phoenix Mercury and the Chicago Sky have arguably two of the big stars in the league. You know what I mean? So again, I'm looking at the Indiana Fever. I'm saying that's the team you have to put some respect on their name. I mean, and then you got the top teams in the league: the Liberties, the Lynx, Connecticut. Then you got the Aces. Then what do you do after that? Is the fall off that dramatic after Las Vegas, which is the fourth place team?
Nah, I don't think so because their fifth team is Seattle. And Seattle is one of those teams that also improved after the All-Star break by signing the chick from France, and then you also got Drew Lord there. You also got Skylar Diggins there. So they got players there. You just it's not going to be easy for the Aces. That's a tough matchup for them, and they got to be careful. I feel like if any season that the Aces couldn't make the second round of the playoffs, it could be this season. It could be this season because the inconsistency. Asia can't do it all by herself. Kelsey Plum has been very inconsistent. Jackie Young has been very inconsistent. It's like they're here one game, the next game they're not. Defense has been a little wishy-washy, especially on the perimeter. So this season to me is going to be the toughest season for the Aces to really make this playoff run. This is like the toughest season for them.
All right. That's what it is. We in the building, man. Down in sports, myself and the ubiquitous Yadabear in the building. We're gonna get down on it because Yadabear got some things that she got to take care of. So we're gonna get down on it. So we're gonna get up out of here. Bowski, what you getting down on this week?
I'm getting down on my Philadelphia Eagles not taking the field goal, man. And it's not just them. It's the analytics is killing me. Analytics to me have destroyed sports. Everybody's crunching the numbers. It's the number game. here. But me, I look at it this way: if I'm inside the red zone and I see that I'm having a hard time, my offense is having a hard time, I'm gonna take these 3 points because the 3 points always come back to haunt you. And look what it did. It came back and it haunted us. You know, we wouldn't have been in this situation if we would have took those 3 points. You know, I'm just tired of analytics taking over sports. You know,
Hmm.
um, I could rant about it all day, but I just if you're in the red zone and you can't punch it in the 3 times, take the points. Walk away with something. Don't walk away empty-handed. Just take the points. And I'm gonna leave it at that. As Bryce Harper hits a 2-run home run. Thank you.
All right. That's Browski, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna get down on the NCAA,
Oh God.
specifically University of Tennessee. They figured out a way to kind of alleviate all this NIL madness.
Yeah.
They figured it out, and they passed the savings on to you. Um, Again, this is what happens. They, Tennessee, University of Tennessee, Southeast Conference School. You already know the vibes. They will figure it out. They're one of those schools that have an enormous amount of boosters, enormous amount of
Yeah.
famous people that attended that school, and do it like this. If you want to pay the athletes, you're gonna have to pay to see the athletes. It is
That's
simple as
what.
that.
Yep.
As simple as that. So again, it's come full circle now. Absolutely, it's come full circle where the money issue has come all the way around.
Now it's coming out. Now it's coming out of our
Now
pockets.
it's going to come out of the fans' pocket who
Yep.
save whatever their money to go see these games, and now they're gonna have to dig a little deeper. And University of Tennessee is setting a precedent, and they're figuring it out. They're gonna recoup some of this bread.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna
You know what I
happen.
mean?
And
They sit back
and
there. They sit back there naturally talk about F what you heard. We gonna get this money back,
we
son.
oh,
You know
we
what I
getting all
mean?
this bread back. Matter of fact, you guys won't be paying the
That
athletes.
right. That's right. That's right.
And
That
now
little.
and now that
Go
they're
ahead.
doing that, I can see some of these bigger schools who have
Hey.
won
Mm-hmm.
national titles, you know,
Yep. And that's
recently
going to justify their. Let's go, Browski. That's going to
gonna start
justify
doing
them
that.
raising their prices.
So
That's
don't
right.
be surprised when you guys
Mm-hmm.
go to, Alabama or Georgia or Clemson and you try to get tickets and you see those ticket prices and went up 10, 15, $20.
Right. Right. And
$30.
basketball, they gonna really kill you because you know what I
Or
mean.
basketball, you're gonna
They
be
gonna
paying
really
like you're
kill
going
your
to the
basketball
NBA.
season. Yeah.
Oh,
So
you'll be
it
paying
is what it is.
NBA tickets.
Yeah.
And then speaking of basketball, imagine what these tournament tickets going to be.
Yeah.
Those
Right.
tournament tickets is going to be it's going to be like NBA Finals
Right.
ticket
You
prices.
better have some electricity in your house so you can watch the game on TV. Listen, we're about to get up out of here down in sports. Me and myself, left-handed, at RM Desk on Twitter, which is this right now. And then we got my Cody in the building, Yadabear, as usual. Well, we're gonna definitely get up with y'all next week. All right. Be closer to the hunt for October. Closer to some basketball. You know what I
Coming up.
mean? Yeah, so we're gonna really have some things popping. Um, that's basically it. When we have to get out of here because Browski got a run to make and people got lives to lead. We'll talk to y'all next week and same bat time, same bat channel, and all that good stuff. Hold up. Let me read these 2 comments before we get out of here. Y'all are our birds. Oh yeah, shout out to Tommy O. He's a big Eagles fan too. That's right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
And again, man, rest in peace, James L. Jones, man, for
Yeah.
real. I mean, kind of like the soundtrack of all of our lives, man. So you can't front and say you never saw a movie with James L. Jones in it, because then we know you're lying. You know what I mean? Or you've been literally under a rock for the last 50
Mhm.
years. I mean, so we're gonna say that. Hopefully the Eagles can do what they do. New Orleans Saints coming up. I'm gonna say this right now from the door, man. I don't think that it's gonna be as bad as people, give it credit for. Before we get out of here, I would be remiss if I don't mention our group down in Sports Talk, week 2. All right. I know some certain people can't wait to hear this. We're gonna start from the bottom, as we usually do, and work our way to the top. All right. Twin Fonz, 9-7. He pulled the DNP last week, so his record is at 9-7. Here comes myself, Lefty Nice, the mayor, aka Left-Handed, aka Chrisio, aka Can't Get a Pick Right, 18-13. Then we got my man Slate, 19-13. And Kia and Sean Strong, all right, they are linked up at 20-12. And then you got Yadabear holding down the fort at 21-11. She's looking for the competition, right? And
Oh,
as
I see the
usual,
competition.
in first place, we got Sonny Cruz at 23-9.
This guy,
Yeah,
this
this
guy,
guy.
I'm telling you, this
You know what I
guy is
mean?
just.
And remember, in a couple of weeks, we got Pick Your Guy. So let me explain this to you guys one more time. Basically, it's simple math. Week 5, you take a player off of any team, any player, or any defense. We're playing it like fantasy football. You pick a guy, you pick your player, or you pick a defense, right? And their fantasy points for that week will be added to your score total, right?
Crazy.
So we got week 5, week 10, and week 15. So it's going down 3 times this season. Pick your guy. All right. So we should have some wild scores this year.
Yeah, we should.
We should have some wild scores this year. Definitely the record will be broken. Or it might be broken the other way. Somebody might pick a like Dallas Cowboy defense and then be like minus 40 points. Yo, we're about to get up out of here. Yo, we'll talk to y'all next week. Broski's in the building and myself. Shout out to Win Walker for coming through, passing through. All right. And we'll talk to y'all next week down in the Sports Talk. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah, man. Puff Daddy, man.
Run, Diddy, run.
Right.